Right. ළමයි හැමෝටම අයිබෝන් හැමෝම පිළිගන්නවා අපේ Revise and Rise program එකට. You all welcome to our Revise and Rise program today. එතකොට අපි today we are going to discuss about the graph session. So you know that in graph session we have in the paper 1 2-mark questions normally, and in paper 2 we have 10-mark questions, right? So we are focusing as per our schedule. Today the paper 2 questions, 10-mark questions we will focus today. Right. So we have shared the tutorial to you. We will discuss the question of that one. And apart from that, we will basically will discuss some theory parts while we are dealing with the graph parts. So we have completed some other parts up to now. So we are running through the schedule. So we will continue with that one. Okay, right. You can keep in touch and you can ask the questions. Right, if any questions, don't hesitate to ask, right? You can ask and clarify it within the class. Okay, fine. So what are the important things before you draw a graph? You have to decide if the scale is not given, you have to decide the scale. So do you know that the size of the graph paper? Can you tell me, anyone, what is the size of a graph paper? Right, imagine if you have this kind of graph paper. So approximately, do you know that how many squares are there into this direction? Right, to this direction how many 10 squares, and to this direction how many 10 square units? Do you know that the length and the width of the normal size? So as per the normal graph paper, so here to here 10 square units are there. 10 square units, how much? 9 to this x-axis. Then very good, Ravindu. To the y-axis we have 13 10 square units. 13 10 square units. Why you need to know this length, breadth? So to can decide the scale whether 5 square 1 units or 10 square 1 units. These are the major scales. So you can decide precisely. Okay. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. But at that time, you can count and see some papers are bit difference, deviation are there. Okay. So if the scale is given, you have to follow the same scale. Otherwise, you will take your own scale. Why the scale is more important? If you didn't choose the correct scale, then if the graph paper is this one, then the graph would be this much. You didn't choose the correct scale. Okay, but if you choose sometimes if you make a bigger scale, the graph one part only this, right, other part in the desk. Right, so that kind of things happen. So how to find a suitable scale? As per the incomplete point table, right, decide how the x variance, how the y variance, right? As per that, you determine how many total y values required, how many total x values required. So here to here maximum 13 with 10 square if you are running. Here to here you are running 10 square 9. If y value is more than 13 units, top and bottom sum, then you decide that you cannot go with 10 square 1 unit, then you go with 5 square as 1 unit or 10 square as 2 units. Okay, so that is how you decide the scale. Then you have to plot the axis correctly, right? As looking to the x coordinate, you plot the y axis. Okay, why? If y is at the center, then that means these two parts balance. If y aligned to the right side, that means the right side, this part x coordinates minimum, negative x coordinate is more. Then the x alignment, if you write x alignment on the top, That means here by positive part is bit low and the negative coordinate has more coordinates there. So if you exactly middle the x-coordinate, x-axis, that means top and bottom, the spread is same like positive values, negative values of the y. If you align this x-axis bottomly, that means more positive values they are in the point table for y and less negative values. So that is why you determine the axis placing and scale placing. I think generally I have explained, but in our theory classes we have further explained right to the point how you establish this axis first and as per the scale given. Okay, right. So now then we are moving to the questions um, um, of our given graph. Then we can come to that. Is this the tute I have given? Can you check me? Check with your tutes. The first one. Is this the first question? Okay, right. Okay, right. Then now we are moving to the questions here. Right, see everyone. Right. So here, this is different types of graph given. Given below is an incomplete table of value of x and y prepared to draw the graph of the function y equal negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. So here find the value of y when x equal 3. So x value given and y asking. So our tool is the equation. So now you substitute to the equation, right? X equal 3 to the equation substitute and you find the corresponding y value. That is our tool. Okay. Then you can substitute to the equation y equal, right? Negative, right? X has now 3, 3 squared plus 4 into 3 minus 1. Then here comes negative 3 square means 9. 4 into 3 means 12, right? Minus 1. So now what is the answer here? Negative 1, 9, negative 1, negative 10, plus 12 means plus 2. Right, so y equal to, right? You find that coordinate. So is that okay to you? Just substitute the x values given to the equation and find the y. Okay, further you can see there is a symmetry of this point table. In 2018, there were question by looking into the symmetry of the point table to find the coordinate. See the symmetry from both the terminal here negative 6, negative 6. Here negative 1, negative 1. 2, 2. 3 is the axis of symmetry lies. This is the like minimum point or the maximum point as per the graph. This is a maximum, then maximum point. So beyond that, graph is symmetry. Okay, so if you are in a trouble in sometimes if you imagine if you got a incorrect answer, then you can see that there is a symmetry. Then as per the symmetry, you can identify this should be positive too. So understood, by symmetry you can find out the coordinate and by substituting into the equation you can find. If they haven't given by looking into the symmetry, then you have to substitute and take the answer. Okay, right. Then draw the graph of the above functions by taking the standard system of axis and suitable scale. And ball is passed to your ball එක pass වෙන ඔයාට දැන් examiner pass කරන ඔයාට මූ දන්නවද scale එකක් තෝරගන්න හරියට කියලා check කරනවා. ඒක examiner දුන්නා නම් කිසි දෙයක් නැහැ අපි ඒ scale එක ගන්නවා. Then how to decide the scale you choose. First check the x scale, check the x coordinate -1 and +5, -1 and +5. So now you can see how many total units are there. Positive sides 5, negative sides 1, 5 plus 1, total 6 units there. Okay, to the x direction. And then the y direction, see that the maximum positive value check, that is +3, minimum negative value is -6. Now check how many units. Positive sides 3, negative side 6. 3, 6, that means totally 9 units. So totally 9 units. Now you know the length and the breadth of the size of these graph sheets. Top part 13 can run with 10 square units. The left sides 9 units you can run. Then 6, 9 both are okay. Then you choose the bigger scale. Why? Otherwise graph paper is this much, graph is very slow. So you have to make like complete graph using a suitable scale. So both x and y axis 10 square 1 unit. Understood how to decide it? Hands up. Right, are you okay with selecting the scale? Check x coordinates totally how much, 5 and here 1, 6. So x-axis 9 units, they are 10 square units. Then y-axis here -6, top part +3. 6 and 3 means 9. So 9 is there. So that's why we decided. Okay, right. In the first graph, I will not draw by that application. I draw manually. Then other graphs, you can drawing part would be okay. Okay, now I decided that one. Now I move to the whiteboard. Right, now check to the whiteboard. Okay, now we are going to draw the scale, then I will tell you. Right. Right, now imagine I have a graph paper. හොඳට බලා ගන්න මේ session එක තරම් වැදගත් session එකක් නැහැ තවත්. නෑ හැම එකම වැදගත්. Right. මෙන්න අපේ graph sheet එක. හරිද? මේක තමයි graph sheet එක. my standard graph sheet එක අඳින්න යන්නේ. හරි. දර බලන්න graph sheet එකේ වැඩ වෙන විදිය. Right. So now you know. Now all the time keep in your eye. Now you choose the scale. What is that scale? X-axis 10 square 1 unit as well as the y-axis 10 square 1 units. Okay, right. So now before plot the axis, now you have to firstly plot y or x-axis. I am going to plot y-axis. දොට මේ ස්ටෙප්ස්ම follow කරන්න. සමහරු ඉන්නවා මෙතන මේවා දන්නමයි 100ක් දන්නමයි ඉන්නවා. සමහරු 70යි, සමහරු 50යි, සමහරු 0.0යක් ඇති. හරි, එතකොට අද ඉගෙන ගන්න හැමෝම 100ට එන්න. හරි. එතකොට මොකද්ද පළවෙනිම ස්ටෙප් එක? plot the y-axis. Right, මේ මං කරන විදිහට මොකද සර් අපි x ට හුරු වෙලා ඉන්නවා කමක් නැහැ. මේක follow කරන්න. Right. එතකොට මේකෙන් ප්‍රශ්නේ නැහැ. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ නැත්තේ some students when you know that in the exam a graph sheet is provided to you, so don't waste that one. So you have one graph sheet, then they will provide any other if any mistake or what happened to that given one, but then that would be very difficult. Some examiners will tell you no the graph sheet, so then you will be in a mentally down, why I miss my graph sheet. So to avoid that condition, follow these steps, so one shot graph is done correctly. Okay, then I am going to plot the y-axis. How to plot the y-axis? to plot y, you look the opposite coordinate. What's opposite coordinate? X. X coordinate you look, right? Then x coordinate running -1. You can look into that, -1 to +5. So negative part only one coordinate, positive part five coordinates there. Then as per the y-axis, imagine if you place y at middle, then +5 required, but -1 only. Sometimes then when you are calibrating here, 5 is not sufficient, then here 3 ending. Some are putting in the desk the 4, 5. Some are putting at this edge of this graph, and some are reducing the scale to come 5. Right? You cannot reduce the scale. Try 2 by 2 ගිහිල්ලා සමහරව අවසානයේට 1 by 1 යනවා. ඇයි ඉඩමදි. Right? එහෙම වැඩ කරන්න බෑ. මේක නීට්ව තියෙන්න ඕනේ graph එක. හරිද? Okay, right. Then how to decide? You know that, and you know that here 5 and 6 units required, then 9 units there. So you place the y-axis left align. Why? You required +5 to this direction and here -1 only. Okay, so then better you can separate 2 units here and place the y-axis, because one more you have the even the spaces there. So this is my placement, see there. So this is my y-axis placement. Sorry. So this is my y-axis placement. Okay, done. Understood how I place y-axis? Because I required +5 there, this right. Then I place the x-axis, right? So how the x-axis placement, looking into the y coordinate. So what are the y coordinates running? The upward, what is the maximum positive value? Check. What is the maximum positive value? That is 3, and negative value -6. That means this part 6 required, to the bottom part, positive part 3 only. Then even you can count, right, for 3 units on the top and make the x-axis. So I plot the x-axis here. Just I required 3 units, maybe additionally 1 from the top. Count to 1, 2, 3, 4 is sufficient. Then you put this placement here. Right, make reactions, right, if you understand this placement correctly. Right, well done. Then here y-axis, here x-axis, right. Then here 0, right. Now you are going to calibrate, right. So 2 by 2 you are running now, because 10 square 1 units. Here you running 1, 2, and here 3, here 4, and here 5, here 6 maybe. And here -1, -2 only I required. Then here how many I required? Quickly I will draw here +3. So here 1, 2, 3 required. So no need to fill all the other values. Here -6, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay, right. Understood? Right, this is my axis. Now you plot the coordinates. You know that coordinate, x coordinate, y coordinates, -1, -6. -1 here, y -6. You put here and make a mark. Then here 0, -1, 0, -1 here. Then 1, 2, 1, 2 is there. Right, then 2, 3, 2, 3 there. Right, then 3, 2 there, 3, 2 there, and then 4, -1 there, right, then 5, -6 there. Just that is fine. Fine. So that is the point position. Understood, everyone? Right. Now what I do, I need to connect this one, so you know that how the marks allocated. So calibrating x-axis and y-axis correctly 1 marks. Then marking at least 5 points of the given points 1 marks. And third one, taking smooth curve 1 mark. Smooth curve. So how to take the smooth curve, right? This is my advice. If you are writing like this is the, imagine this is your graph sheet, right? You first place the points in this way, but then when you draw it, rotate into this direction and just connect this part, then rotate here and just connected this part nicely. Then you can visible the points correctly and you can make a smooth curve. And here for drawing curves, we are not using a ruler, right? It is not allowed to use a ruler formally, right? But we know the one tricks. But you can draw it nicely. This is live stream publics, that's why I cannot say that the trick. But you know that the trick of getting a smooth curve. Okay. Yes. So here my advice, right? This is not official advice, but whenever these are the two far away points, these are the two far away point out of that one. So when we connect very far away points by freehand or ruler, but it doesn't appear much difference, right? This is not a formal advice, but then for this kind of two parts, if you write it manually or by a ruler, it doesn't much become appear, but that is prohibited normally. Not prohibited, that the curve, no, curve means not straight lines, they are parabola. So this is called the parabola, the name, right? So I connect this one in this manner, right? See my way of doing now. So I take here, I connect these 2 points first. Okay. Then how I do it? I take the pencil and the not ruler, just make like it came with my smooth hand, right? It drawn with my smooth hand, right? Here I take in nice way, right? And then I cannot rotate my smart board, but you can rotate it nicely. Right. So this is the curve. Don't draw 2-3 times on the curve. Just one way, one time better. Right. Make a smooth curve. Don't color it or don't bolt it. Just freehand, very smooth, nice curve. Make the pencil very sharp. Okay, before you move to the exam and these are every equations. Now you write the topic, the equation of the function on the graph. So what's the function equation? That is y equal, so you write here y equal negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. දැන් මම පටපට ගාලා ඊළඟ graph ඇඳගෙන යනවා. දැන් පළවෙනි graph එක A to Z කියලා දෙන්නේ අඳින විදිය. ඊට පස්සේ අඳින විදිය නෙමෙයි ප්‍රශ්න ටිකයි ඕනේ. දැන් මේ අඳින විදිය හැමෝටම පුළුවන්. right හැමෝම අඳිනවා මේක. right කනාවට හරි අඳිනවා නිකන් curve එකෙන් එන්න හරි අඳිනවා අල්ලපු කාගෙන් බලලා හරි සමහර coordinate එක දාලා අඳිනවා. හරි මේ එක coordinate එකයින් හොයන්න තියෙන්නේ ඒක නිකන් කනාවට දාලා හරි සමහරු curve එක ගන්නවා ලකුණු 3ක් වගේ 4ක් විතර shape. හැබැයි මේකේ අර අනිත් ටික තමයි මේකේ වැඩිම ලකුණු එන්නේ ඊ ටිකයි අපි හරියට set වෙන්න ඕනේ. right එහෙනම් මේක පැහැදිලිනේ right. එතකොට මේකේ ලකුණු ලැබෙන විදිය දන්නවා. Normally 3 marks for this graph questions for the drawing, as I mentioned the breakdown for the calibrating axis, marking the plotting the points correctly and taking the smooth curve. Okay, then we previously found that finding that coordinate, unknown coordinate also given the marks. 1 marks normally, right? Now that is complete. Here name the x and y axis, calibrating done, negative positive done, nicely, smooth curve taken, fine. Right. Now we move to the question. So here the behavior is a maximum parabola, right? Here you can see the graph is coming here and here getting the maximum value and then reducing. Okay, so you have two types of parabola in O-level maths. Either one is maximum or the minimum. Only that type of parabola they are for the quadratic function. But if you take like cubic functions, maybe x cube, then that is like this type of question. If you do A-level maths, you will find that kind of graphing, not the x power 2 graph. Other than that, we have the functions. Okay, but in your level parabola either maximum or minimum only, right? So now we will move to the question. With the questions we will discuss the things, right? So here they are asking, using your graph write the equation of the symmetrical axis. So what is the symmetrical axis? Symmetrical axis means where the graph is equally distributed, right? Always it lies along the maximum or the minimum point. If it is a maximum curve, it lies on the maximum curve. If it is a minimum parabola, it lies the minimum point. Right now I draw this one. This one is the axis of symmetry. Okay, I drew it. So what is the axis of symmetry? This one is the axis of symmetry. So what they are asking, they're asking axis of symmetry equation. So what's the equation here? Where it cut the x-axis, that is at 2. So the equation is x equal to. So that is the axis of symmetry equation. Okay. Then they're asking, write the range of x where the function is positive. So the function is positive. Positive means what? The above the x-axis graph part is the positive, below the x-axis part is the negative. Function is what? Function is y. Function is graph. These are the three names that we applicable. Functions, graph, y. All are same. So the way are the functions positive, the top part of the x-axis. So if I highlight the graph, you can see that this part is the positive part. Okay, this is the positive part. Then what they ask in, where the graph positive, x function is positive, write the range of x where the function positive. So positive is start here and positive end here, right? Starting here and ending there. So graph is running to there, here to here, but the x range is running to there. So this is the x range, right? Graph range here to here, but x running throughout the x-axis here to here. Then tell me what is this x intersection, this point and this point. Tell me those who got 0.3 and 3.7. Okay, 0.3 and 3.7. Okay, 0.2, 3.7. No problem. Here one point error is acceptable, right? Then in between that you put the x, because x is in between that. You put x in between that. So here the range. So you write the lower cutting value, the upper value. In between that is the x. Okay, this one between x is there. So that is the answer. Then write the range of, that is fine. Express the function in this format, right, when the above graph is translated upward with 1 unit along the y-axis. Express the function in this format when the above graph is translated. Now see, if the graph is translated upward with 1 unit along the y-axis, so you can transfer this graph y-axis, this one, upward 1 unit. So upward 1 unit means we take on this maximum point and along y-axis mean towards this way. Upward, downward mean this way. To x direction means this way. X negative direction means this way. So now the translated being done, upward 1 unit. Then you check what is the new resting point, new maximum points comes. Here 3 there, then 1 upward comes mean 4. Now you check what is the resting point, minimum point now. No harm to the x coordinate is still 2, but it appear the y coordinate as 4y1 unit translated on the top. So you require this maximum point to write the graph in that format. එතකොට මේකට අපිට මොකක්ද ඕන වෙන්නේ? graph එක මෙන්න මේ maximum point එක ඕන වෙනවා, new maximum point. ඔන්න බලා ගන්න ලියන විදිය. So we take the maximum point at the side 2,4. Right, then you write here x coordinate, here y coordinate. Make exam හැම එකකටම ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන all papers ගොඩක් ඈ. So how to write the equation in that format? You write y equal, y equal, you write, keep a bracket and you write x and perfect square. Now bring this, okay, bring this x coordinate with us changing its sign to here. X positive 2, x is taken near to x, but change the sign. So positive 2 means here comes as negative 2. Then here y coordinate, you attach a side as positive 4 as it is. But this is okay as this when the parabola is a minimum shape. But if the parabola maximum means the the x squared coefficient should be negative. To become negative, you write in front of this square terms negative sign. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, then you can make it nicely negative sign, the negative terms at last and positive term first. 5 minus x minus 2 perfect square. This is also acceptable. So this is the new function equation. To write a function in this manner, you require the minimum point and then it is adjusted in this manner. Okay, right? Anyone any doubts, any questions? Right. Right, then find the value of x where the function is 0. Right, using that find the square root. Which one? මොකද්ද ප්‍රශ්න කියන්නේ ඊළඟට තියෙන? Right. What are the roots? ළමයි power cut එක යනවද 10:00 පස්සේ? ඔලපෙතුල එහෙම power cut එකක් තියෙනවද 10:30 වලින් පස්සේ? After 10:30? නෑ නේද? All right. Right. Roots means what? Solution means what? Solution means here the solution or roots. Roots can solution. Root of the equation is what? Where the graph cut the x-axis. These are called what? Root of the equation. The otherwise solution of the equation. Remember that root and square root is different. Okay, root and square roots different. This is square root. Sometimes they ask to find the square root 3, square root 5. Are these the roots? No, these are the square roots. Roots means the solutions of the equations. Roots, solutions, these are differ. Okay, different things. So some students think that root means the square root means root 3 means this cutting points. No. Right, I will tell you how to do that square root. That's the most hardest part of the graph equations. Right, let me check the equations graph. Yes, what they're asking, find the value of x where the function is 0 using the large value of x. Find the value of x where the function is 0. Where the function is 0, function mean what? I told you function is y and the graph. Where the y equals 0 happens on the x-axis. So y coordinate is here 0. Here y coordinate is so 0. So where the y equals 0 values, there are two values here 0.3, one is x equals 0.3, the other one is x equal 3.7. These are the y equals 0 x value. In other words, these are the roots of the equations. These are the solutions of the equation, right? So what they asking now, considering that one, find the using the large value of x, find the square root 3. Using the large value of x, find the square root 3. Now you write, they are asking large value of x means this value, that is 3.7. Okay, now I will do this one. This is the most hardest one to the students in this graph question. Finding this square root. On the balagan එක හැමෝම. So to find the square root 3, before you find this one, you need to make the graph in this format. To this format, you need to bring. How to bring to that format? You require the maximum point coordinate, that is 2, 3. Then make the graph into that format, y equal x, right? Put here x coordinate negative as -2 and +3 there. Okay, then to make maximum, bring their negative. Then you write 3 minus x minus 2 perfect square, right? So algebraically, so you are going to find this code, these values. This values means y0 x values. So you make y0 in these equations. Y0 equal 3 minus x minus 2 squared. So that means we are going to find y0 x values by this algebraically method, by the equation. Then here you subject x minus 2 squared to this side, perfect square equal 3. Then take the square root of both sides, x minus 2 equal plus or minus square root 2, 3. Then subject here x equal 2 plus root 3, 1 is the other one, x equal 2 minus root 3. So now what are these solutions? These solutions are the y equals 0 corresponding x values. That means where the graph cut the x-axis values. Why? Y equals 0 when x cutting these values. X are these values. Now for these x2 values, we have the solution graphically. What are the graphical solution? Here one is 0.3, the other one is 3.7. So that means here these x values are here these x values, cutting values. So now you need to check 2 plus root 3 belongs to which x values? This x value is 3.7. Why? Here both are positive and 2 plus something means comes 3.7. So now what you do, graphically you got 3.7 as the x answer, where the y becomes 0 x value. For this answer, for this solution, for x you substitute this cutting value 3.7 for x equal now 2 plus root 3. Now Putta, here they are asking root 3, like root 3 as x. Imagine root 3 as x subject root 3. Root 3 equals 3.7 subtract 2. That gives you 1.7. So root 3 equal 1.7. Yes. But Athelstan, here we are giving to the first decimal places. How you cannot find like 1.73 by this graphically method. Why the reason? Here the cutting value is normally appear like to a first decimal place, but if you make like bigger small squares, then you can further check the cutting value like 1.73. Algebraically we can find out, but graphically we will give to the first decimal place. Okay, understood. Then what about the one students can equal here 0.3 belongs to which value? 0.3 belongs to which value? This value. So you can equal 0.3 here and subject root 3, the same answer coming. How? For x here, this value belongs to 0.3. 0.3 equal to minus root 3. Then subtract root 3. Root 3 equal to minus 0.3. That means 1.7. 1.7. 0.0 to 3.0. Yes. 0.3 not equal marks there, Putta. They are saying the positive range. Positive. Why? 0 is not considered as a positive. When x is at this point, the graph is 0. Function is 0. But 0 is not positive. Okay? 0 is not considered as a positive value. Okay, right. So that is fine. We completed the first question. Now drawing fine, one shot drawing by the GeoGebra and then question will be discussed. Okay, right. අමාරුම පාර්ට්ස් දෙක ආවි එක්සෑම් එකට මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම ලියන එක මේක පුළුවන් නේද දැන් මෙහෙම ලියන එක මිනිමම් වුණොත් මේක වෙනස් කරන්නේ මේක පොසිටිව්මයි මේකයි ස්ක්වයර් රූට් එකයි ස්ක්වයර් රූට් එක හොයන එක තමයි අමාරුම එක ළමයින්ට හරි එහෙනම් අපි සෙට් තුමු අනිත් වැඩේට right කොයිද මේකේ තිබ්බේ අර graph එක මේකනේ හරි එහෙනම් ඔන්න අපි යනවා second එකට right දැන් පටපට ගාලා වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන් බලන්න format එකෙමත් වෙනස් equations තියෙන්නේ right incomplete table given the quadratic equation right find value of when x equal -1 see the symmetry මේකේ වැරදිලාද coordinate එක 1 plus 2 3 3 square 9 plus 3 6 then මෙතන positive positive වෙන්න ඕන ඒක වැරදීම positive 6 නේද right 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 okay now check the symmetry here both the sides here 6 here 6 here 1 1 here -2 means what is the answer -2 yes but don't use that symmetry just substitute to the equation -1 +1 right that is okay now using the standard axis of the quadratic on a graph according to the above value right draw කරන්න කියනවා draw කරනවා x plus 2 perfect squared minus 3 x plus 2 perfect squared minus 3 so I input x plus 2 them I minus 2 the x plus 2 x plus 2 perfect square දාවේ x plus 2 perfect square yes minus 3 right ඔන්න curve එක බලන්න මේකයි curve එක right දැන් ප්‍රශ්න ටිකට යමු හරි පැහැදිලිනේ ඔයාලා මේක අඳහම ඔක තමයි curve එකේ ඉන්නේ right so what are the questions now asking right using the graph write the equation of the axis of symmetry how to take the axis of symmetry right you know that axis what happened right axis of symmetry අහනවා what is the axis of symmetry then right so here the axis of symmetry we do passing through the -2 so here the axis of symmetry x equal -2 okay that is the answer is that clear හරිනේ minimum point එක හරහා යන vertical line එක තමයි x equal -2. Right. Then write the intervals of value of x which the function is increasing such in the range -2 to +5. මෙන්න මේක බලා ගන්නකො වෙනස්ම ප්‍රශ්න සෙට් එකක් තියෙන මේකේ. Right. So the y range given that -2 to right +5. Y is in between this range, then they are asking the x range belongs to that. Y range given and x range asking. ඔන්න මේක හොඳට බලා ගන්න හදන විදිය මේ හැම එකකම ප්‍රශ්න වෙනස් ඈ. මේවා පුළුවන් නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් exam question එක පුළුවන්. So now the y range given -2 to +5 and belongs to that, and then one wording should be given. It's increasing or decreasing, right? It is given as increasing, right? Then we will see that. So now what you do, first you draw y equal -2 line. Y equal -2 line, draw. How to draw y equal -2 line? Just I write y equal -2 line. Just see there. So y equal -2 line means a line which passes through this -2. Okay. Y equal -2 on the y-axis to -2, that is a parallel line to the x-axis. Then I draw the other one, y equal +2 on the graph. You also will do this one in the exam. So y equal +5. See there. So y equal -2. Then this one y equal +5. Okay, so now you can see the graph part. Between that graph part is the important part. So now you can see here to here, this is the graph part. Here to here, you can see that this is the graph part. Between that range, here to here, between that range, this is the graph part. Now you can see here to here, see the terminal. These two parts are there between these two values, the graph lies. And then these two parts also between that regions, the graph lies. Now they have a specific wording, increasing. Increasing means here to here, when come back downwards, here to here means decreasing, here to here means increasing. Now check the relevant graph part. Relevant graph part here, this one, okay, this one, and this one ending. Okay. So this point is -1, -2. That means here x cutting value -1, and here x cutting value is what? +1. Yes. එහෙනම් ඔන්න බලන්න වෙන දේ. So now you decided here to here, the graph part comes here, right between that range. Okay. And here to here graph part there, and here to here also that graph part there. Then here to here decreasing, here to here increasing. Now you took the graph terminal. Terminal is this point, and in terminal this point connected to the x-axis to see the x range. Here it comes as -1, right? Then here it comes as +1. Right, as per my graph view, isn't it? Then x is variance here to here, x variance. So that means x is in between that -1 to +1. Is that correct, Puta? Is that correct? Understood? Make a පැහැදිලිද හැමෝටම? Hands up those who got this answer. 0.8 you got, Menudi. Check, because any 0.8, right? Check there, this intersection between these two. Graph එකයි මෙයයි කැපෙන point එක හරියටම බලන්න. -1 ද 0.8 ද කියලා. 0.8 ද එහෙනම් ඒක ගන්න. දැන් මට ටිකක් මේකෙන් පෙවුනේ 1 වගේ. එහෙනම් ඒක උත්තරේ දාන්න. මොකද එතකොට එන්නේ 0.8 මෙතන කැපෙන තැන -2 line එකයි +5 line එකයි අතර මෙන්න මෙයා කැපෙන point එක මෙයා x axis තියා කරපුවම -0.8. Okay, then what is this terminal when you connected to the x axis? This terminal, what is that? That is 1. What are the two terminals? හරියටම ඇන්දොත් මේකේ හැටියට පෙන්වන්නේ දැන් ඉස්සෙල්ලා පෙන්වුවේ -0.1 +1 නා right මොකද මේකට වර්ධින්න විදිහක් නැහැ ඒක බලන්න චෙක් කරන්න -1 +1 කියලා මේකේ පෙන්වන්නේ right ඒක අපිට solve කරලත් බලන්න පුළුවන් ඕනනම් right හරි -1 0.8 okay හරි ඒනේ ඔගේ අපි බලමු right. Find the root of the equation, this one, find the approximation value of √3 using the above graph. Mulimano, find the root of this equation, right? X plus 2 perfect square, right, minus 3 equals 0 roots. What are the roots? Roots means what? They are x intersection values, where the graph cut with the x-axis. That are the roots, right? Then, see there, so I take the x intersection value of the graph are the roots. So here I can see that that is -3.7, one root, the other root is -0.3. On the roots දෙක බලන්න කියන්න හදපුවා මේක හරිද කියලා. The one root is -3.7, the other one -0.3. So that's the this graph shows that cannot be wrong. Okay, so that are the roots. Fine. So what are they? -0.2 and -3.7. Okay, then using that they are asking the find the value of √3, square root 3. So they are asking to find the square root 3 value according to that. බලමු අපි square root 3 එක හොයන හැටි ආයෙත් බලා ගන්න තේරුම් නැති අය square root 3. So you have to write the graph in which format. So you have to write the, here I write here -3.7, here cut in -3.7 and here -0.3, right? 3 ද මම කිව්වේ බලන්න. Then කොහොමද මේකේ උත්තරේ ගන්නෙ? Roots means how to give the roots. X equal -3.7, that are the roots. The other one x equal -0.3. Hari. So these are the roots. So now they are saying that to find √3 based on these root solutions. So to take such a square root value, you have to write the equation in this format: x minus o plus x plus a, x plus a perfect square plus b. How to write in this format? You require the minimum points coordinate. What is the minimum point coordinates? Tell me minimum point coordinate, Puta. Tell me the minimum point coordinate. X coordinate is like -2. What is the y coordinates here? Tell me the y coordinates. No. Y coordinate also -3. Okay. Minimum point coordinate. So -2, -3. Okay. Then write the equation in this format. How to write? Y equal x, put a -2 with +2 there, sign change, perfect square, and here -3 as it is. Now how to write the square root 3? Now here you make y equals 0. Y equals 0, 0 equal x plus 2 perfect square minus 3. Bring this -3 to the other side. So x plus 2 perfect square equal 3. Now you subject x plus 2 equal, right, plus or minus square root 3. Okay, then subject x equal -2 plus √3. Other one, x equal -2 -√3. Now you have two solutions. These two solutions are graphically also given. How? these x cutting points. So one is negative 3.7, one is negative 0.3. So which one belongs to which one? Here, positive 3 subtract 2 means like small minus value. But here, both are minus, mean adding together. Now you can see the bigger minus value, not bigger, actually magnitudely lesser one. This negative 3.7 belongs to here. Negative 0.3 belongs to there. So equal for x, this x cutting value. For x, you write negative 0.3 equal negative 2 plus root 3. Now subject root 3. How to subject root 3? Bring this 2 to the other side. 2 minus 0.3. Then that gives you 1.7. ක්‍රමේ හොඳට ඔලුවට දාගන්න වරද්දන්න එපා මෙච්චර කියලා දීලත් ඈ 10 marks can be taken. Okay, අනිත් එක මොකද්ද? negative 3.7 you can equal to this root, this solution. Right, for x subject that negative 3.7 equal here negative 2 negative root 3. Bring this root 3 to this side, positive root 3. Bring this to the other side, 3.7 minus 2. Then also 1.7 comes. Same answer is taken. That's all. බොරු කරන්න බෑ. තර එනවා හරියට. Okay. Clear that? Right. So that is the question number 2. So now we are moving to the question number 3 then. පැහැදිලි නේද? ප්‍රශ්නද? root එක පැහැදිලිද? root එක දැන් දෙකක් හැදුවා. Right. එහෙනම් දැන් අපි ඊළඟ question එකට යන්නේ බලා ගන්න. Right. Right. So question number 2 done. Now 3. 3 පුළුවන්ද බලන්න? Right. බලමු ලකුණු 10ම. දැන් නම් I think මේ ප්‍රශ්න පහ වුණාට මේක කරාට පස්සේ ඕන ප්‍රශ්නයකට answer කරන්න පුළුවන් ඈ. Right. Given below is an incomplete table of value prepared to draw the graph of the function 2 plus 4x minus x squared. So the graph parabola shapes depend upon this x squared coefficient. If it is negative, right, negative x squared, then that is a maximum shape. If it is positive, then it is a minimum shape. Yes. Now we will check the symmetry for fun. Negative 3, positive 2, right, 5, 5. Here you cannot find by the symmetry. Why? This is the axis of symmetry lies on this. So both the parts symmetry. Okay, then find this value. How? Just substitute x as 2 to the equation and take the y value. So y equal 2 plus 4 into x. X is what? X is 2 minus x squared. X squared means what? 2 squared. Okay, then 2 plus 4 into 2 comes as 8 minus 2 squared means 4. 8 plus 2, 10 subtract 4, 6. So y equals 6. Okay. Right. Then find the value of y when x equal to done. Draw the graph of the function. Take in I scale given 10 small squares along both x and y axis 1 unit. Right. Now we will draw that graph of the function in our coordinate plane. Right. Now check the equation. We will substitute. Right. Right, now I input the equation y equal 2 plus 4x minus x squared. Right. Right, so this is the graph. You can see that this is the graph drawn. Fine. So now what's they asking here? find the value of y when x equal to, we found that one, draw the graph done. Write the interval of the x which y greater than 0. Y greater than 0 means what? Y means what? Y is the graph. Okay, y is the graph where the y greater than 0 x value. Graph positive x value in the other word. The positive indicated as greater than 0, negative indicated as less than 0. So now they are saying where the graph is positive x values. You know that, as I mentioned, positive means above the x values part. Above the x value total part is positive, right? But you can separate that positive part into two subparts, like positive increasing and positive decreasing. When climbing up, here to here positive increasing, here to here positive decreasing. So they are generally asking where are the intervals value of x which y greater than 0, positive parts. So now you know which intersect part. This intersect part, you know that. So this intersect coordinate, what are the intersect coordinate? Negative 0.4, and here what is the positive 4.4? Negative 0.4 and positive 4.4. So that are the answers here, right? So here, this coordinate positive 4.4 and here negative 0.4. Okay, so this is the x coordinate. So now you know the graph is positive here to here. So the x variance comes there to there along the x-axis. Okay, then how to give the answer? Negative 0.4 is the lower terminal. Upper terminal is positive 4.4. X is in between that range. Okay. So this is the answer. Okay, that is the positive range of this graph. Understood? Right, this cutting value and this cutting value, the graph is between that x range along the x-axis. So they are asking express the above function in the form of in which form y equal, right, see that form y equal b minus x plus a perfect square. So how to write in this format? So follow my method. First check the maximum point coordinate. What is the maximum point coordinate, Putta, here? Tell me the maximum point coordinate, x and y. 2 and what is the coordinate? 2,6, right? 2,6, very good. So here the maximum point coordinates you write 2,6. Okay. Then this is x coordinate, this is y coordinate. You write the quadratic function in this way, y equal, write x, keep a bracket square, and here x coordinate 2, this change the sign and bring here, then it has -2, right, and attach +6 to the end. Okay, as the y coordinate, no change. Then here we do a different thing. So what is the different thing for the maximum curve? You know that for the maximum curve, we bring the negative sign front to this perfect square because the x coefficient should be negative. So now bring this 6 to this side. 6 subtracts x minus 2 perfect square. So y equals, this question is there. Okay, right. Y equal 6 minus x minus 2 perfect squares. Right, so that is okay. Then what's they asking? Last part. Deduce coordinates of the point of intersection of the graph and the x-axis. Y equal this graph and the x-axis. So now they have given the same equation, right? But the x coefficient is uh, just become positive, right? The x coefficient positive means that graph also like a mirror image, right? Like it comes the graph the same way, right? The graph is like same way passing this way. Okay, so the x cutting points, no harms, right? They still same, right? No harm to the x cutting point. They also similar to this x cutting points, right? No change to the other graph. Okay, so the x cutting point is similar, like negative 0.4 and positive 4.4. That is the answer of that question. Okay. Right, so that question is done. So now we are moving to the this is important. So the last time I guess a question that was there. This is similar to that. This is the final seminar in a tutorial, right? Final seminar tutorial. I did this one also. And final seminar, I did the separate question drawing graph and given this. This is also did done. Right, see that here the question. Now the graph is drawn. In the last exam, the question was in oval paper, graph drawn and given, the question being asked. Okay, now check. The graph of a quadratic function drawn on the interval -2 to +3, 4 are given here. Using the graph, write down now the graph drawn, the value of the function when x equal to, how to find when the graph drawn, the x equal to function value. Function means what, as I mentioned, y. So they are asking when x equal to function value means y value. So now you check x as 2, this is the x as 2. Okay, now connect that two lines to the graph where the graph cut x equal to. Now connect that to the y-axis to see the y coordinate here. So that likes -3. -3 x equal to, connect to the graph, cutting point, connect to the y-axis. Then y value is -3. So what is the function value? That is -3. Here becomes -3. Okay. Then the coordinate of the minimum point of the graph. So here having a minimum point. So this is the minimum point coordinate. So how the coordinate? Here the x coordinate 1 and y coordinate is -4. So the minimum coordinate is 1 comma -4. 1 comma -4. x1 y -4. Then the value interval of values of x on which the function is negative and decreasing. Negative and decreasing. Right now we will check that one. So you know that negative means which values? Negative means where the functions below the x-axis is negative. So if I mark below the x-axis mean this part. So here to here totally negative. Okay, negative. Then they are asking negatively, but when interval of x on the function negative and decreasing. So decreasing means මෙහෙම පල්ලම ඉන්න ඕනේ. කන්ද නගින මේ set එක තමයි increasing. මේ ටික decreasing. And on decreasing part you can find out here, right? So out of these total negative parts, this part is not there. So here to here only the decreasing part. So this is the graph decreasing part here to the minimum value there. So this is the first terminal, this is the end terminal, negative and decreasing part. Then how to take the x coordinate? Just connect that point to the x-axis. So -1 and connect this one to the x-axis, that is positive 1. So here negative 1 starting and ending positive 1. So x variance is this one. So x is between that negative 1 to positive 1. So the answer for that one, negative and decreasing, is x negative 1 to positive 1 range. Understood? Right. Then the value of a and b of this quadratic function equal this one. Min format එකට අහනවා graph එක. මේක ඉතාම වැදගත්. So what are they actually? These are the these are the roots. These are the roots when y equals 0. Y equals 0. These are the factors. Individually, these factors become 0. While we are solving the quadratic equation, factorize equals 0, then 1 equals 0 and the other one equals 0. Then when x equal as a as a root, right, x equal a as a root. So imagine what I do here, the y equal x minus a into x minus b. Okay, then y equals 0 means x-intercept, x cutting values, then x minus a into x minus b. Okay, then individually equal to 0 to solve this one, x equal minus a equals 0, or x minus b equals 0. Now what happened here, x equal a or x equal b, right? That means the right x equal a is the solution, x equal b is the other solution. Solutions mean the roots. So roots means these two values are the roots. So what are the roots here? Negative 1 is a root, the positive 1 is a other, positive 3 is a root. Then that means this factor should be, to become an x as negative 1, the factor should be x plus 1. To become x as positive 3, the other factor should be sign change, x minus 3. So that is the function y equal. Understood? Right. So how to find the function when these two intersecting values are given, and then x coefficient should be, x squared coefficient should be 1. But in your level, so now that given the function in this manner, so a equal what? Just x plus 1, 1. So change the sign. Here minus 1, here plus 3. Then එකක් වෙන්නේ කවුද? x plus 1 අනික x minus 3. එහෙනම් roots දෙක දුන්නාම equation එක ලියන්න පුළුවන්. x squared coefficient එක 1 කියලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම දුන්නොත් අපිට ලියන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද? කැපෙන දෙන්නගේ ලකුණු දෙක මාරු කරලා factors දෙක දානවා මෙතෙන්ට. x මෙතන කැපෙන්නේ -1, then here +1. Then anit kena +3, then here -3. So this is how you write the equation. On අලුත් දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගත්තා, when x intersecting values given, you can find out the function in this manner as factorizing. Okay, when exactly the x cutting values are there. So change the sign and apply it to the factors, right? But here x squared coefficient should be as 1, that to be specified in the coefficient. Otherwise, there may be some k coefficient. That's why we in advanced level we discuss this kind of things. But at the moment, right, this k should be 1. K means the coefficient of x squared, if that to be specified. Okay. Right. Write down the write down the quadratic functions y of which coefficient of x squared make it write down the coefficient quadratic function of y which of x squared is equal to 1 and the roots y equals 0 are 0 and 4. බලන්න කියන්නේ නම් roots given and they ask in the quadratic functions. How to write? On the roots දෙක දීලා, roots means what? The x cutting values given, x cutting both terminal. කොහොමද ගන්න එතකොට? Y equal, right, put the brackets, these are the two roots. So change the sign of the roots. right? X0, no sign, no. Then here as it is x minus 0, x plus 0, x. Then what is the other root? X positive 4. Then the factor should be x minus 4. So that means, right, x squared coefficient 1 mean here 1. So what is the function actually? X into x minus 4. So this is the function. So y equal x into x minus 4 is the function. You can expand and even write it. When the roots given, how to write the function. Learn that one into your mind. Write down the minimum value of the function after recognizing the equation b1 above in the form of this one, right? Write the minimum value of the function, right? The minimum value of the function එක ගේන්න ඕන මෙන්න මේ විදිහට. මෙහෙම function එක ලියා ගන්න ඕනේ. Right? Y equal මේ ආකාරයෙන් ලියුවට පස්සේ minimum value එක අහනවා අපෙන්. Right? B1. එතකොට මේක කොහොමද අපි ලියන්නේ එහෙනම්? Y equal here x into x squared minus 4x. Right. එතකොට මේ ආකාරයට ගේන්න ඕනේ මේක ටිකක් quadratic පැත්තට යනවා function නෙමෙයි. Y equal now to make a perfect square. Remember the completing the square knowledge. To make a perfect square to minus 4x, the x coefficient half you need to take, that is 2. 2 squared mean if plus 4 there, you can find out as a perfect square. But you newly added plus 4, so you cannot add anything to the equation. Then to cancel it, just you subtract 4 from that one. So that means like you add 4, subtract 4, that is cancel. So now you can write x squared minus 4x plus 2x means x minus 2 perfect square. Right. Now check, this is the, for these three things you can write x minus 2 perfect square. X squared minus 4x plus 4 coming there, and here minus 4 there already. Now by looking into that format, you can see that what is the minimum point coordinate. What is the minimum point coordinate? Here near to the x come in that value, by changing you brought it. Then what is the coordinate should be there then? So minus 2 there means plus 2 the x coordinate, minus 4 means the y coordinate as it is minus 4. Right. Correct it. පොඩ්ඩක් විතර ඒක ඇඩ්වාන්ස් වැඩි මේ හරිය. හැබැයි මේකේ මේ පොයින්ට්ස් ඉගෙන ගන්න. මේ රූට්ස් දෙක දුන්නාම quadratic equation එක ලියපු විදිය මතකයි නේද? right. අපි මේ වගේ පොඩි එකක් කරලා පෙන්නුවොත් මේකයි කතාව පුතා. Right, whenever we have two kind of quadratic, right? And imagine this is the graph parabola, and here it is given coordinate negative 2 comma 0, and here right positive 5 comma 0. Okay, now tell me how to write the equation of this quadratic function. You can write here cutting value negative 2, here positive 5. Then you can write if x squared coefficient 1, x. Right, here negative 2 means you change the sign positive 2, and positive 5 means you write x minus 5. So this is the quadratic function. Okay, right. Right, now we move to the last one. In the quadratic function, see there, this is also different equation. Right. In a quadratic function, sum of the value respect to x are given in the table, right? Not the equation given, right? Just the table only. 2018, we received this kind of equation. So now find the value of y when x equal 1 by considering the symmetry of the graph, by looking into the symmetry of the graph. Now you can see that negative 2 plus negative 2, both the symmetry you can see, right? right? So see the symmetry, -2, -2. Then 3 means here also +3. 6, 6, that is fine. Okay, by looking into the symmetry terminals, two terminals, departing in him. Right. Make hoyanna bෑ symmetry වලින්. මේක දුන්න නැත්නම් symmetry වලින් හොයන්න බෑ මේක. Right. Draw the graph of the functions by taking the small division right along this one, right? Then graph එක අඳින්න කියනවා මේකේ. Right. එතකොට graph එක අපි මේකේ අඳිමු. Right. එතකොට අපිට ඇඳලා මේකේ ප්‍රශ්න ටිකට යන්න තියෙනවා. So now we will draw that graph. See everyone. Right. So now decide is scale given. Draw the graph by taking 10 small division along both x and y axis as 1 units, both x and y 1 unit. Now we are going to plot the axis. So x coordinates running +2, -4. So negative side is more. Then the y axis is rightly aligned because negative part is more. Right. Then I take y-axis in this direction, right? And then I'm going to plot the x-axis by looking into the y-coordinate. So here y-coordinate maximum +7 is there, minimum -2. So positive part more, negative is very small. So I draw in this manner the x-axis. Okay, right. Now I calibrate the axis here. Right, so 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I mark x-axis, and here -1, -2, -3, -4. Here +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right, y-axis, and here -1, -2, -3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here -1, -2, -3, -4, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here -1, -2, -3. Okay, now we plot the coordinates. How? -4, -2. -4, -2 means this coordinate, and then here -3, +3. This is the coordinate. Then -2, +6. This is the coordinate. And then -1, +7. This is the coordinate. And then 0, 6. 0, 6 is this the coordinate. And then 1, 1, and we got 1, 3, right? 1, 3. And then 2, 2, -2. Right. So now we connect this one. Right, the longest point I connect in this manner, right? And then I connect these, right? Right, so this is the smooth curve, but we do not know the equation. Draw the graph of, right, draw the graph is done. Now, if the function is given in the form of, now check y equal k minus x plus 1 perfect square, right? Find the value of k using by the coordinate of the maximum point of the graph. What is the maximum point here? -1, +7. So as I mentioned, -1, +7, how to write in the equation format? You know that x, here bring the -1 x coordinate with change in sign perfect square, +7, and we do a change. If it is a maximum parabola, here negative sign. Then we can write y equals 7 minus x plus 1 perfect square. That's the formula. So k minus x plus 1 perfect square. So k is replaced by 7 here. So k equal now 7. Okay, k equals 7. Then write the minimum value and the maximum values of the function in the range of x. Now range of x given 0 to write x less than or equal to 2. X is between 0 and 2. So now how to find that kind of equations? Previously y range given, x asking, now x given, y asking. So now draw the function equations. So I draw x equals 0 line. What is x equals 0 line? So I make x equals 0 line here, right? So that is a x equals 0 means the y-axis. Along the y-axis, x coordinates are 0. So this is the x equals 0 line. See there. Then the other one, x equal 2 line, x equal positive 2 line. So that is the x equal positive 2 line passing here. Okay, so this is x equal 2 line. Now check between that x equal 0 and x equal 2 line, between x equal to 0 and x equal to, that means this range, right? So they are asking this range. So x to 0 to 2 means this part. Okay, x0 graph here, x2 graph there. So the graph part comes here to here. X is 0 to 2 means graph is here to here. Understood? So what they ask in the value of minimum and maximum of the function. So when x equals 0, range the maximum comes here. When x equal 2, the minimum comes there. So the graph here to here coming, this is the graph part between that region. Between that region, maximum is 6. The maximum of the function is 6 between that range. So the at x equal to, the function becomes the minimum, that is negative 2 in that range. That range minimum is equal negative 2. That is not the graph minimum or the graph maximum. Within that x range, the maximum 6, minimum negative 2. Good questions. Then last one, find the value of x when x equals 0. Find the value of x when y equals 0. Y equals 0, and hence find the root 7 to the nearest first decimal place. So they're asking now, find the value of x where y equals 0. Y equals 0 means what? Y equals 0 means where the graph intersect with the x-axis, that are the y equal 0 x values. These are called what? Roots. Not the square root, roots. The other word, solutions. So what are the root solutions of this graph? Right, x cutting points. What are the x cutting points? Tell me what you got for this one. It is like negative 3.6778 something. කොතරම්ද -4 හරියද කියන්නේ x minimum value එක කොතරම්ද minimum value එක මේ graph එකේ නෙමෙයි ඉස්සෙල්ලා කියන්නේ වෙන graph එකක් අරකේ perfect square එක හදන එකක් නේ right ඔව් හරි මේකේ ඒතකොට cutting values දෙක මොනවද මේ values දෙකට cut වෙන්නේ මේ values දෙක cut වෙන්නේ ඒකේ values දෙක දෙන්න අර හදපු ගාන විදිහමයි මේ values දෙක කීය දෙන්නේ negative අපි හිතමු x equal negative 3.7 අනිත් value එක x equal positive positive 1.607 1.7 right මේ වගේ උත්තර දෙයක් කියලා හිතන්න මේ cutting value දෙක ඔයාලගේ හරියටම එනවා right okay then you can algebraically solve this one you have to write the equation in this format ලියාගෙන තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ විදිහට ලියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ root 7 හරි මොනවා හරි root එක හදන්න square root එක හදනකොට then we have y equals 7 minus x plus 1 perfect square then what you do y equals 0 make y equals 0 0 equal 7 minus x plus 1 perfect square Then subject x plus 1 perfect square as 7. So x plus 1 is what? Plus or minus square root 7. Then x subject karana x equal minus 1 plus root 7 or x equal minus 1 minus root 7. So these are the solutions of algebraically solved. Graphically, these are the two solutions. So this algebraically solved solutions equal to the graphical solution, but correspondingly equal. So here negative 3 point something, here positive answer. Where the positive given, this one is the positive given. Root 7 subtract 1, but here both are negative. Then corresponding one equal. So positive root they are 1.7. So that is negative 1 plus root 7. So here that algebraically got negative 1 plus root 7. That is equally graphically the root 1.7 or 6. Then subject root 7 as bring minus 1 to the other side plus 1. Then root 7 as right 2.7. 2.7. Understood? More clear the puta, right? The way of getting square root. So this is the conclusion. To getting a square root, what you need to do first, make the equation in this format. If it is a minimum or maximum, you know that the way of getting to this equation format. Then make y equals 0 and solve algebraically and take x values as like the complete in the square. Then that taken answer for x equal to the x cutting values there, right? Corresponding one taken equal to x. Okay, then subject that the unknown root value. Normally when you make the format into this way, you can see this value is the asking now as a root. Imagine here comes 5 root 5, here comes 7 root 7, here comes 3 root 3 asking. So and further in your knowledge, think that now we can see that is 2.7. Yes, if root 9 there are 3 answer. Root 7 means like 2 to 3 between us, and 7 is bit closer to 9, then like 2.7, 2.8. So our answer is acceptable. In that manner, think. Okay. So this root, finding square root is the difficult part to the students, but we did it. And then finding root solution is also okay. These x cutting values. So that are the roots and the solutions. So minimum points, maximum point, and finding the graph in this format also. Now you are okay, right? And when the y range given is x asking, we did. When the x range given, y asking, we did. For increasing, decreasing, we did, right? So these are the major important parts in this graph session. So they especially focus in the second paper. So now I think we completed the tutorial. So what is our next session? Tell my students, you are very familiar with our schedule. Our next schedule, check our schedule with our discussion. We are running towards the end of this month and maybe March of the first week. And we have the paper class tomorrow is poetry, right? Okay, no problem. I will try to do. If any change or if I couldn't, I will send a message. So today, tomorrow, Friday, Wednesday, we have additional paper discussion apart from Saturdays. Additionally, Wednesday for this month because you have the exam soon. And then we have the balance work. Then we start the week by Saturday with the paper class, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, right. So adhere to our schedule and see what's going on in the schedule, and we will send the tutorial relevant to that. Okay, so I think graph part is done to everyone. Any questions regarding the graph part? You can draw it nicely and answer the questions nicely. Okay, Bhuta, then I will conclude the session for today. Then we will meet with the next week revise and rise series, right? Thank you very much. I will meet by next week.